I created Species Nutrition with one mission in mind: to provide bodybuilders and serious athletes with no-nonsense supplements that work. I put my name and reputation on every bottle of Species Nutrition products. If you want to be your absolute best, join the evolution.
What is going on? We are back for another Midday Muscle. I'm Tyler. Let's get going. With all due respect to Stu Sutherland and his fantastic second place performance at the New York Pro, it looks like the marquee name for this year's rookie class is indeed GoodVito, and it looks like we might finally have a target date for his season debut. According to reports, right now Vito's camp is targeting the Europa and Yamamoto Pro shows as the first two stops on his 2023 campaign. In all honesty, Vito might be coming into the season with more buzz behind him than any rookie that we've seen in recent memory, which is a high bar to live up to, especially when you've seen some of the guys we've seen coming through the ranks recently. But with that amount of size, and if he can get his conditioning up to speed, you know he's got that puncher's chance to get some favorable looks from the judges and potentially land a spot in one of those early callouts. Now to be fair, GoodVito's definitely not the only one trying to land himself in a first callout spot, because Blessing Awadibu is also looking to make an impact right from the jump when he hits the Chicago Pro stage in a few weeks. The updates that we've seen from his camp over the last few weeks seem to indicate that he is trending in a very correct direction. And you'd imagine that getting ahead of the game by securing an early Olympia qualification has to be a top priority here. There's going to be so many people vying for those spots as the season goes on that you won't want to be behind the 8 ball. So if his conditioning is where it needs to be and he holds on to the fullness in his legs, his odds are as good as anyone's or better to walk out of there with a W intact. Alright, let's stick with these ideas of coming in bigger and stronger as we now segue over to Nick Walker, because he's in a similar spot as Blessing in all that regard. The vibe that we're getting from Nick's camp is that he's moving away from trying to bring in the more aesthetic and streamlined lineup look that we saw at the Arnold and moving back towards playing to his strength, which is being one of the biggest and freakiest guys on stage, to the point where he just overpowers people with that size and conditioning. At this point, it may be obvious that he won't ever be able to match guys like Derek or Samson who have better shape and symmetry. But if he can double down on being the best version of him, that in and of itself might be enough to start moving the needle in a totally different direction. Right as the rider was finishing that Nick Walker segment, it would seem someone sent some new updates to him from Peter Clancer, who might be one of the 2 or 3 guys in all of bodybuilding who has the potential to match Nick's freak factor. We got word from inside Peter's camp that he's turning up the dial of the intensity over the next few weeks so that he can bring his all-time best conditioning whenever he decides to compete again, which will probably be at some point within the next few weeks. And to be completely honest, Peter probably has one of the craziest frames in all of bodybuilding, but for one reason or another he hasn't been able to put it all together and land himself in that winner's circle. So if he can put together the last few pieces of this puzzle, he might have a shot at being a dark horse contender as we get into the next part of the season. By the way, is it Petter, Petar, or Peter? I've heard all 3. You let me know. Pronunciation aside, thanks so much for still watching, everyone. Probably gonna be back here tomorrow. Maybe you too. Heck, have a good night.